Hey fangirls and boys, this is Natalie and you're watching Whole Lotta Love. And in today's video, I thought I would pull some inspiration from the hyped up MAC Botanic Panic collection, the Botanic Panic Palette. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this, that, you know, people are actually really liking this color story, whereas some of the recent color stories coming out from MAC people have not been too excited about or impressed with, but this one, it's kind of striking people's fancies on YouTube and the internet and whatnot. I don't have the Botanic Panic Palette by MAC, but I did see it in person and I wasn't too impressed with it. You know, I'm definitely very much into textures. I don't feel like it had a lot of texture to it. The shimmers seemed pretty bland, and just overall it was like a little bit pastel. It was a little fun take on a pastel because it had some chartreuse and some purple and things like that. But overall, I don't think I'm going to get that palette. It's just not that exciting to me. It kind of looks like something that, you know, ColourPop would do, but like probably not even as good. I mean, MAC does have really beautiful single eyeshadows, but I don't know, just that I didn't swatch the palette, so I can't say for sure, but it looks a little bland to me. But I did want to pull inspiration because inadvertently I did pick up this palette, which is the Blooming Lovely palette from Sample Beauty. This palette is like $24. I got it on Beauty Bay. Pretty good shipping from the UK to the US. No problems at all. Came about a week or so. This is what the palette looks like inside. Once I got this palette and also just like the name Blooming Lovely, I definitely think that they're pulling similar inspiration, right? MAC Botanic Panic Palette, it's just like floral nature inspiration, and this one is as well. You know, it says the description of the Sample Beauty says, from bud to bloom, the Blooming Lovely palette is about trusting the process. The 28 shades will help you blossom from neutral daytime looks to statement evening eyes. So yeah, so this is definitely a fun palette. It's definitely a larger palette. I personally enjoy larger palettes. I know a lot of people want something that's a little more curated. I hear that all the time, and that they'll kind of like write off larger palettes for the most part. But for me, it's more fun to play with. Sometimes you can kind of have that overwhelmed feeling, a little bit of a lack of inspiration with a larger palette, but for the most part, you know, I'm able to kind of find things to play with, and they're just so pretty to look at. It's just so much fun. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying this in the video. I'm really excited, and this is not the first time that I'm trying Sample Beauty, so I definitely went into this video feeling pretty good about what the performance of the shadows would be like. The first palette I picked up from them was this Immensity palette, a smaller color story of rainbow matte eyeshadows. This palette performs absolutely amazing. And this was like less than 20 bucks. I want to say like 12 to 15 bucks, which is, for the quality that you're getting in this they look true to color on the eyes. It's like super saturated rainbow colors. It doesn't disappoint. I'll actually put a picture up of a look that I did with this palette. So I was definitely excited to play with this palette, and I definitely pulled inspiration from the Botanic Panic MAC palette. Not every shade is duped from the MAC palette, but there definitely are several shades that I feel like are very similar to what's in the MAC palette. Like, for example, this peachy transition. You also have like this pastel yellow, this kind of green shade, all of which I use in the look. And there's also some coral shades, even though the tones are a little bit different than what's in the Botanic Panic, and the purples are a little more cool tone in this palette. But overall, you have a lot more options here, and this is also a palette that can really, go from spring to summer, and we are in the summer season now, at least, in the UK and the US. So yeah, so I definitely was very excited about this palette, where not so much about the MAC palette, but that palette did give me inspiration to do something a little bit outside of my comfort zone, something a little bit different. Normally I would just go in heavy with the brights or the deep colors, but I'm definitely tried something different here. And if you would like to see how I got this look and how these shadows perform, if you are interested in seeing that, then keep on watching. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I've already done my brows and primed my lids with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. This is a great primer for bright color full looks, which is what we're doing today. So I am going to bust out this Sample Beauty, the Blooming Lovely palette. I haven't tried this yet. I've swatched a couple of the shades and they seem absolutely gorgeous, but this is what the palette looks like. And in the intro, I'm going to discuss how this, similar to that very popular MAC Botanic Panic collection and palette. This is like also inspired by, you know, florals and spring and things like that. The difference is this one has more colors, it has more brighter colors. It doesn't have all of the same colors, but there's definitely similarities, and there's still a lot to play with. So I think I'm gonna kind of take from that palette, inspiration from that palette. I'm gonna do something that's a little bit softer, even though there are a lot of super bright colors in here. We'll see. I'm gonna play around with the colors as well. So I want to start with this shade here, Pollen, which is like a pastel yellow, and I'm using my BH Cosmetics blend eyeshadow brush from the Say It Out Loud collection. This is a great shadow brush set. Just gonna dust off some of that excess. So for a pastel yellow, that's looking pretty good, pretty pigmented. There's a decent amount of kick up in the pan, but it's not like the eyeshadow is falling apart or anything. Okay, next I'm gonna go into this shade, which is called Sprouting. It's almost like a chartreuse lime green, a little more muted. I'm gonna use my Linda Hallberg, this is the 303 small blending brush, and I'm just gonna put this shade in the crease. So you can see the green shade in my crease. That's nice and pigmented for the tone that it is. It seems true to color. When I first started blending, I thought it would be a little sheer, but now that it's blended, I don't think so at all. It's pretty easy to build up. So this is what we have going so far. Looking good. I'm gonna go into this darker green. It's like a Kelly green. It's called Hay Fever. I'm gonna use the same Linda Hallberg 303, and I'm just going to deepen the outer portion just a little bit. And one thing that's really cool about this palette is that it's mostly mattes. The shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to use this in look. I might, may not. The shade Occasion is one of the shimmers. It's absolutely stunning. And the other shimmers are really pretty as well, but it's mostly matte, so it kind of gives you a lot of different options to build your look with. And then like a few really good pops. Okay, so this is what we have going so far. It's just a little bit of depth in the outer edge, but it's still a bright color, so it's not going to be like a smoky look or anything like that. I just wanted to create that little bit of extra depth, but it's still very colorful. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Clionadh Cosmetics. This is just like a medium-sized packing brush. I would say it's not super thin, but it's what I have readily available. I'm just gonna cut the crease. I'm gonna do like a half cut crease. And I do have a good amount of fallout on the side of my nose over here. At least the colors I'm using are pretty light, so it's not too bad. It's mostly like the yellow that seemed to have fallen out. And I'm using the Morphe 2 concealer to cut the crease. Okay, so I have cut my creases. Not sure that's the greatest cut crease or the most defined cut crease that's ever happened, but it'll do. It's really just to kind of keep the color that I'm about to put on true to color in this look. I'm gonna use the shade Blossom over here, so this is just like a nice coral shade. Again, it's a little bit more muted. It's not like a super neon color, and I'm just using my shade brush from the BH Cosmetics Say It Out Loud brush collection. So this is what we have going. I brought the cut crease a little too far out on this eye, and I kind of tried to match it on this eye with the eyeshadow, so it's not as flattering as I would have hoped, but I'm hoping, you know, once we work on the look a little more, I can put something in the inner corner and kind of help that out a little bit. Interesting set of tones. I feel like I'm definitely trying something new with these tones. I'm not sure it's like my favorite combination, but it's definitely something different, so we'll just keep on moving on. So I'm gonna go back into the shade Sprouting over here, and I'm just gonna put this, kind of blend out this part right at the crease a little bit more. And I'm gonna go back into Hay Fever and just blend out this little edge a little more where I cut the crease. So this is what we have going so far. The blend is a little bit weird where I cut the crease. I don't know if that's the concealer or the eyeshadow itself or just the different tones. Yeah, and I'm not super happy with what's going on over here, but this is more of my own user error. The eyeshadows are pigmented and they do blend out pretty nicely for the most part. So I'm gonna kind of leave this here for a second, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do some wings, but I'm going to use the Kaja. This is the wing stamp. And I don't necessarily like the regular liner that accompanied this set, but it was like kind of too watery, and it transferred right away. But I do like the wing stamp itself. So it just has two ends, so you could do a wing on each side, so it has a left and a right. And yeah, so I'm just going to start with the wing, and then I will do the liner to complement it. So even though it's a stamp, you still have to kind of get it in the exact right spot, or you'll still have that issue where the wings aren't quite even, which is something that I'm dealing with right now. I think I was pretty close, but not perfect. I'm just gonna, do my line and kind of fix it up and call it. So that's the liner done. I just kind of wanted to do a little shortcut in terms of a wing. I didn't want to do anything too elaborate. I just kind of wanted to add that to the look. I am going to add something to my inner corner. I definitely need to kind of try to fix this. Yeah, I think I am going to go into the shade that I swatched before Occasion. I just don't want to take a risk because the other shades are pretty dark. And for the inner corner, that could be a good look, but I already have so much going on in the inner corner with the coral shade that I want to try to help the situation, not make it worse. I'm just going to take this on. This is a MAC pencil brush. I'm just going to go into the shade Occasion. It's very like flaky kind of shade, very soft. So pretty. I'm just gonna go in the inner corner. Definitely getting some fallout, but that shade is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my god. That's my favorite shade in the whole palette. And I think that definitely worked in obscuring what was going on. Like, it's definitely still has pigment to it. It's not just like a topper shade. Very nice all around. So that's what we have going now, and I definitely feel like this Occasion shade on the inner corner saved the look. I think it really brought it together, and it's pretty cool. I'm kind of digging it now. Again, not my super favorite color combo, but just this color Occasion in the inner corner, the shimmer is so stunning, and using these different colors is just, it's a little bit experimental for me, and it's a lot of fun. It definitely gives those like floral spring vibes. I'm gonna line my waterline. I'm gonna use this About Face. This is the shadow stick. I'll list the name of the shade. It was part of their summer collection. It's just like a lime chartreuse shade. I'm just lining my waterline with this. I'm gonna curl my lashes. And I'm using the Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara. And it's thundering. I'm gonna conceal under my eyes and finish the rest of my face, and then I will be back to finish the lower lash line and finish the eye look. Actually, I just wanted to show what I'm using on my cheeks. This is kind of inspired by the whole MAC Botanic Panic collection, and I think that these products are gonna go pretty well with the eyes. This is the Air Matte Blush by NARS, and it's in the shade Orgasm. I guess this is a new product, even though the shade is definitely not new. And it's definitely been repeated a bazillion times, but I just want to try this. I'm all about the cream blush trend. I've always liked cream products, but now that it's on trend and readily available, I'm, all about it. I definitely prefer something that's like dewy. This one's, Air Matte. It says it in the title. It's a matte blush, but Orgasm has a little bit of golden shimmer running through it, so I think this blush is really pretty though. It blends out really nice. It's not super heavy pigmented right away, but you can definitely build it up. So those are the cheeks with blush. I think that that looks nice. I think it really matches the coral on the lid. It's a good look. And for highlight, I'm gonna go into this Ritual de Fille. This is their Metamorphic highlighter in the shade The Chimera. This is limited edition, and I believe it's out of stock and supposedly gone forever, but they've brought it back a couple times, so they might bring it back again. And it's so beautiful. I feel like they should really make this shade permanent. But you know, if you have anything from like Kaleidos or just Ofra or anything that has like that greenish tone to it, like the golden greenish tone, it would work similarly. And some of those ones from like Anastasia and like the Moonchild and the Aurora kits, they probably have something like that in there. The only difference is this is like a super dewy cream, which I of course love. Yeah, the Metamorphic highlighters are like the best product that Ritual de Fille has, for sure. Okay, so highlighter is done. Definitely like it. Definitely think the tones go with this overall look. Now I'm gonna decide what I want to do on the lower lash. There's so many pretty colors in this palette. I'm so tempted to just do like a completely different color, but I think I want to just do the shade Soil, which is just like a peachy brown or peachy beige like transition shade. And I'm gonna go back to the MAC pencil brush and just put this on the lower lash. Actually, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on the inner part of the lower lash, and then I'm gonna go in with the shade on the outer part of the lower lash, the shade Flowerette. So that's like a more punchy, almost neon coral as opposed to the one that's on my lid. So this is the lower lash line. It's looking a little crazy right now, but I'm just going to blend it out with my 303 Linda Hallberg small blending brush. So this is the completed eye look. I just buffed out the lower lash line and finished with mascara on the lower lashes. Yeah, I think that this look really came together. The little pop on the lower lash with the coral is pretty similar in tone to what's on the upper lash, but just like a little bit more punchy, so that little extra spot of it is kind of cool. Yeah, and I think that the beigey shade on the inner part of the lower lash line goes well with the shade that's in my inner corner with that really metallic fun shade. So I think that this look really came together. Definitely like is like springy, giving me like those springy vibes, like, you know, flowers, like the stalks of the flowers and the stems and leaves, and then the actual, you know, coral being like that hot flower itself. So I definitely liking this. I'm going to finish the entire look with lips. I have the Soph X and Makeup Revolution little lip kit here. This one is the one that's more peach. They came out with two lip kits, one that was a toffee kind of color, like a little bit more of a rosy brownie color, which I have that one too. Absolutely love it. This is my first time trying the shade that's a little more peachy. And again, I think that this is gonna go with the whole look very nicely. And these liners are pretty nice. They're very smooth and creamy, and just like the look of this, like the rose gold that it's like on the actual pencil itself, it's all rose gold. It feels and looks a lot more expensive than it is. Okay, so that's lip line, and I'm gonna go in with this lip balm. It's just like a sheer lip balm. Actually, it's not too super sheer. Definitely goes with the liner quite nicely. So this is the final look. I think it came out pretty nice. It's pretty fun. It kind of matches my shirt a little bit, kind of matches the nails. Looking spring / summery vibes for sure. And definitely my favorite shade in this palette is Occasion. It's amazing. I think it saved the entire look. And yeah, I think overall, you know, I think I picked really good lip color and cheek colors and highlighter to really go with it. So I am really happy with this overall look. I'll have to play with this palette a little more. I do think that their shadows are pigmented. I think that they blend well. Didn't have any major issues, but just before I went in with the inner corner shade, things were like looking a little bit weird, but I think that might have also been my own user error. So I definitely want to play with this a little more. And I have played with Sample Beauty shadows before, and they're pretty good. So I'm definitely happy with the look, and I'm happy to have this palette. Anyway, that completes this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a good one. Bye.